Hi, this is Cedar House Fix-Its, and today we're going to be changing the oil and checking the tire pressure in my 2006 GL 1800 Honda Goldwing. I'm going to show you the process of getting your oil changed and checking it. I've got all the stuff here that we're going to do that with, so let's get started. Okay, what we have today in order to get this accomplished is we have 4 quarts of Honda 10W40, and this is the synthetic. You can either run the regular or synthetic. I prefer the synthetic just because it lasts a little longer in case I miss the oil change by a few thousand miles. We have a Honda oil filter. We have an air chuck. We have a handy-dandy Goldwing filter wrench that you can buy anywhere off the line or at your Honda store or wherever. A roll of paper towels, of course, funnel, and a drain bucket, a clean drain bucket. Okay, first thing you want to do before doing any oil change, and this bike hasn't been ran today, so I'm going to start it up and just let the engine warm up for a few minutes. That will help the oil drain and make sure we get a lot more oil out of the crankcase than if it were cold and you're draining cold oil. Just let it up, idle up for about 3 minutes until the engine oil heats up. Okay, after you got your motor warmed up, what we want to do is we want to put it on a center stand. Right now it's on a side stand, but we're wanting to put this on the center stand. So put your passenger footrest up with the foot stand still up. Get it about centered. Reach down with your right foot. Put a little pressure till you feel that balancing point where both the pegs are on the concrete. Push your foot, lift with your hand using this back handle here and the handlebar, and it's right up on its center stand. Okay, first thing that we want to do is we're going to get access to where you put the oil in, and this is on the passenger side. Here's the chrome trim piece. What we're going to do is we're going to pop that off. Now, I always use my filter wrench when I'm doing that. I just stick it up right up underneath here and just give it a little pry, and it just makes it that much easier to pop off. Okay, before you start draining your oil, what you want to do is you want to take the dipstick out, so that's the way the oil will drain out and it'll have a free flow rather than it coming out in big clumps. Wipe your drain plug off really good and set it aside. And then next we're going to drain the oil out. Okay, now towards the front of the bike, underneath the front cowl, is both the oil filter and the drain plug. And obviously we're going to take the drain plug out first, let it drain into our oil carton, and then we'll take the filter off and let that drain out, let that oil drain out. So what we're going to do is just basically loosen it up like that. And once it's cracked, you can bring the pan underneath here and start working it loose. One thing that you want to catch is you feel for the oil drain plug washer. Make sure that that follows your drain plug out so it doesn't stay attached to the bike. And just let the oil drain. Alright, what we're going to do next is we're going to take our handy dandy filter plug wrench and we're going to loosen up this oil filter. And just wanted to start it getting loose, and then you can do the rest by hand. You should be able to. Bucket over so you don't make a mess. Take it all the way off, turn around and let it drain out. So now we're just going to let this continue draining until all the oil is drained out. Okay, what we're going to do next, and there's some controversy, or not really controversy, but it's just a preference, I think, on what some guys do and some guys say it's not necessary. I'll leave that up to you, but you can actually preload your oil filter, so I don't think it hurts anything just to throw it on there dry, but that's just my opinion. But for the sake of this video, I'll go ahead and pour some oil in here, and while it's settling into the oil filter, I'll rub a little oil around the O-ring on the outside so we're good to go whenever we install it. That ought to work. And what you want to do, if you like this method or you want to do this method, just as it runs down into the filter, you just add a little bit more. And as you see, it's starting to go down into the filter membrane. And you can pre-charge your oil filter like this, but again, it's up to you. It's your personal preference. I don't think it makes a difference, but some people think it does. So, okay, pulled the drain plug out, and this is actually the old washer that goes onto your drain plug, and that prevents it from leaking. And there's a flat side to this washer and a round side, and maybe you could tell a little bit on the newer one. This is the round side here. This is the flat side. Flat side goes against the engine case, like that. You know, some people say that you can get 3 or 4 uses out of these, and you can. I've been changing the oil in my own vehicles for about 25 plus years now, and I never go to Jiffy Lube or any of those oil services. But I prefer just to put a new one on. I have used the old ones before, and they have developed a leak, and that's happened to me in the past. That's why I just put a new one on. These things are super cheap, and it's just a little insurance to help you prevent any leaking and then have to rechange your oil, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to do that. So put a new one on. Okay, what we want to do next is just a little cleanup. I just use a little brake cleaner, but you don't really have to use this. You can just wipe it, but I like to get all the grease and stuff off around the where the drain plug is. So I spray it on my towel, and I clean that up, and I clean around where the filter seals against the bike too. And like I said, a little brake cleaner just helps loosen up some of the cruddier stuff and gets it all nice and clean. You want a nice clean seal whenever you go back to put your drain plug in. Alright, start with the drain plug. Go ahead and get that started. Always do it hand tight. Always like to be neat and wipe off any excess oil. There we go. And next, we use our pre-loaded filter. And we don't really lose much oil whenever we do this, just a few drops. Get that started on there. Whenever we get this on here, we just want to do it hand tight. And like I said, only a few drops. Look at there, not a big deal when you pre-charge your filter. So, all right, handy dandy filter wrench. Give that a little snug, and you know, you could go through the whole process of getting the torque wrench out and doing that, but I've done enough of these that you just tighten it to where it's tight, not overly tight. You don't want to strip the block or anything like that, but once it's tight on, you don't have to worry about it. You can just do it by feel. All right, now we're ready to add some oil. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to add the oil. It takes 4 quarts, minus what little bit we put in the filter. And just pour it in slowly until you get all 4 quarts in. Okay, now we got the 4 quarts in. Just put the dipstick back in. Tighten it down. Before we do anything, we're going to go ahead and start the engine and let the oil run through the motor here. Okay, what we want to do next is we've let the engine run and warm up for a little bit. We turned it off, waited a few minutes. We're going to check the oil to make sure that there's enough oil. Honda has 2 marks for the GL 1800, and what we're looking for is oil to be close to that top mark. So when you put it in, you don't screw it in. You just put it to where it's flat down here, leave it for a few seconds, pull it out, and read it. And I don't know if you could tell or not, but this is at the top mark. meaning it is full and we are good to go. Just screw this back in. Make sure it's good and snug. And we put our plastic chrome piece back on. And next we're going to check the oil, or check the tire pressure. Alright, while it's running, you want to check for leaks. Look underneath the bike, make sure there's nothing dripping. Look up underneath here, there's no oil in either location, the drain plug or the oil filter. So we're good to go. Okay, the Honda tire pressure information is located right here. You flip up your top case and it's on a sticker right here, at least it should be. Front says 36 psi, rear 41 psi. And that's, again, sometimes, you know, people like a little bit more, some people like a little bit less. I'm going to follow the manufacturer's guidelines and air up my tires to the recommended Honda 36 and 41. Okay, while we've got this on the center stand and I frequently check my tire pressure, we'll go ahead and check the rear first. Take off the cap. Get the handy dandy tire pressure checker. And it is reading about 40. So it's lost a few pounds. So what we're going to do is we're going to air it up to where it says 41. Okay, I got 41 pounds per square inch in the rear. And now I'm coming to the front. As you can see, when I parked this, I didn't take into consideration where the valve stem is. So easy thing to do when it's on its center stand, just grab it with both hands, pull it towards you, and it's real easy to move your front tire when it's on the center stand, so you can find your valve stem. This one's at just shy of 35, so it just needs within a pound or so. Okay, one of the things that people don't often show you is actually the cleanup afterwards when you change oil. And I have several different pans I use. I use the big open one for my motorcycle just because it fits underneath there. But you can use the closed type. The Gold Wing, when it's on a center stand, is tall enough to use either or. I just use this as a demonstration. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to store my used oil in 5-gallon gas cans, and then you can take this to your local auto parts store or Walmart, and you can actually recycle it for free, which I do. I believe in not putting oil out into the environment, so people actually use this to refine it into motor oil once again. So anyhow, I'll use my bucket, take off my cap here to the spout, and what's amazing is that these things fit actually pretty well down into the hole of a 5-gallon gas can. And make sure your spout's up if you've got a spout on yours, and then just drain it into your 5-gallon gas can. And then as you're draining it, you can slowly spin this thing around while you've got this nozzle in the tip in your 5-gallon can, and you'll catch. So you can drain the whole thing out. Just like that. Alright. Then after it's all drained, you just wipe out your oil container and throw away all the rags, get everything done, and then we'll be back to check the Gold Wing, make sure it doesn't have any leaks. Okay. That's all there is to it. I want you to go out there and don't be discouraged changing oil in anything that you have. It's really a simple process. It doesn't take that long. You're saving a lot of money, and you know it's done right because you did it yourself. You checked it, you verified it. You're using a better oil than what the Jiffy Lube or most places will give you with a standard oil change, and you save money. So that's all from Cedar House Fix It. Happy riding and have a great day.